Any technical problems, Ibu Siti?
Let me. Do you have? No, I mean, do you see my PowerPoint?
Not yet.
Unfortunately, no,
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Oh,
Are you having a
but
technical problems? Can I help you?
Yeah, it
Sending your
seems
screen?
like this. Yeah. But I have already clicked to share, but Pak Timothy.
Oh, yes. So may I help you? I will try to share your PPT. I have your PPT.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
That's
my
a good
pleasure,
idea.
Pak
Please
Timothy.
do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Can you see this PPT? Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, can see it clearly.
Ibu Siti, you can start now.
Yeah, okay, thank you. My manuscripts under title Utilizing
Is she lost in connection? Hello, Ibu Siti. Are you still with us? Ibu Siti. Well, it seems that there is a connections problems with Ibu Siti, or maybe we can proceed to the next speaker, and later Ibu Siti can go after Ibu Marta. Ibu Marta, yeah, okay, great that you are ready. Then this is the opportunity is given to you. You can prepare your PowerPoint. Would you like to operate it yourself? Okay, wait. Ibu Siti is back. Wait.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Bu Eni. Yeah, there is I think networking problem, I think. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No,
Okay,
I'm ready, Bu Eni.
okay.
I continue now.
Then. All right. Okay. If you
Yeah.
are ready, then okay, Bu Marta. I'm so sorry after this. Yeah.
No problem. Yes, I can wait.
Yeah. All right. Okay, Ibu Siti.
Yes, thank you. My manuscripts under title Utilizing Flipped Classroom Strategy Based Interactive Media to Minimize. As we know, the COVID-19 pandemic has penetrated all aspects of life, including the world of education. Most of schools have implemented distance learning using synchronous and asynchronous. One of this strategy also recommended by the Ministry of Education and Culture. to improve students' learning distance quality during the pandemic. And then the next slide, Pak Timothy. Yeah, actually the action of learning at home using the online method is teachers interact with students like on a normal day, although their interaction are conducted virtually. But there should be an atmosphere of discussion, dialogue, and then question and answer, quizzes, and so on, like in the real classroom, if virtually. Using Google Classroom, Google Meet, and then Microsoft Teams, yeah, or Zoom meeting, and so on and so on. Yeah. And then teachers do not just give assignments that pile up every day in each subject. Then students are monitored whether they are present or not. Learning like this is a burden for students and parents, I think. Therefore, teachers' creativity is needed in managing information technology-based media, including social media. Yeah, but the question now is whether teachers space of students' activities. Yeah, if so, it can be said that such a home learning model is not much different from a learning method categorized by the concept of one-way information, by in which that the teacher is main source of knowledge. Yeah, as we know as teacher-centered learning approach. Yeah, if so, the learning carried out by teacher is only instruction. Yeah, not the construction or reconstruction of knowledge, and does not even give students the opportunity to determine the direction in which students want to explore in finding meaningful knowledge to them. Yeah, this condition, I think, causes students slow independence learning or autonomous learning. Yeah, I think this is the demand of digital learning and needs students independence learning, right? And then next slide. The basic thing must be considered is to build students' awareness so that they remain enthusiastic in learning. Building students' awareness is an alternative to maximize students' online learning because awareness is the first asset for students to acquire knowledge. Yeah, teachers should maintain the students' motivation. Yeah, this one. And then, so teachers must be able to innovate and have variation and learning models or strategies. This is closely related to teachers' effort to always maintain the learning quality and especially students' interest in learning engagement. One of the learning model options can be applied to achieve this learning objective is the flipped classroom strategy. Yeah, actually, flipped classroom strategy is a reversal of traditional learning procedure, which is usually done in the classroom in traditional learning to be carried out at home in flipped classroom, and which is usually carried out at home as homework in learning, traditionally being implemented in the classroom in a flipped classroom because it's called upside down reverse classroom learning. Yeah, this is according to Newton 2011. The teacher should give learning materials. Yeah, in this case, in this research, reading reading materials, and together with the interactive media. Interactive media means digital media, like digital storytelling, yeah, something like that. Students' reading anxiety included unfamiliar vocabulary, worry about reading effect, afraid of making errors, unfamiliar culture, unfamiliar topics. Yeah, two aspects of EFL reading anxiety, namely personal factor and text feature. And then under the concept of a personal factor, there are two main sources of EFL reading anxiety, which is afraid of making errors and worry about reading effects. Yeah. I think, yeah, teachers should always keep in touch with their students, although the teaching learning process, yeah, is carried out virtually. Yeah, the aim is to increase students' motivation in learning English. Yeah, because uh, in the classroom, yeah, there are three kind of learner style, yeah. Learner style, namely visual learners, and then auditory learners, and kinesthetic learners. And all of the types of learner styles exist in our classroom, yeah. So teachers should realize that teachers should use various media and various learning methodology, yeah, to get involved of the students. Yeah, the problem is online learning, yeah, for the rural students. Yeah, I mean it is not easy job for English teachers here. Yeah, based on our observation and our study, yeah, in uh, uh, with English teachers interview and students interview, yeah. But using flipped classroom, students have much time to learn the learning materials at home before teacher discusses it in the classroom, so that students are more independent and students have well prepared the learning materials. Yeah, because English, yeah, English is view as difficult subject for students. Yeah, most of students have difficulties in learning English. Yeah, so I think teachers should give more attention to the students. Yeah, in this case, flipped classroom, I think is the best solution for online learning class or offline learning class. Yeah, also offline learning class. Yeah, because in the 13 curriculum, yeah, 13 curriculum for the secondary schools, yeah, integrated language skills, yeah, listening, reading, writing, and also speaking, yeah, all of the integrated skill, yeah, should be taught, yeah, should be taught in integratedly, yeah, not separatedly. So the flipped classroom give opportunity to students to make well prepared at home, yeah, before the class starts, and then this is potentially to reduce students' anxiety in learning English. Yeah, and then as we know, English is not their mother tongue, so English is assumed as difficult subject for most of the students. Yeah, and then the
3 more
yeah.
minutes, Ibu Siti.
Yeah, okay. The study aims firstly at explaining the implementation of using flipped classroom strategy based interactive media to minimize students' reading anxiety. And then secondly, describing students' engagement in the use of this learning strategy. Yeah, the study used qualitative descriptive, and then research subject is the 7 graders of Islamic Junior High School in West Ungaran in the academic year of 2000 and 2021. And then data collection technique use interview, observation, and documentation. Interview to the English teachers and to 25 students, yeah, as the 7 graders of this school. Data analysis technique employed data reduction, data display, and conclusion drawing, also verifications. Research finding. In applying flipped classroom strategy, teacher provided reading material first, and then together with the interactive media, the students were asked to learn the learning materials before joining the English class. Yeah, and then based on the interviews, students' reading anxiety consisted of difficult to understand the text, unknown vocabulary, unfamiliar vocabulary, pronunciation, accent, fear making mistake, confidence, type of reading text, and then teacher's personality and attitude. Yeah. And then also students' engagement. Yeah, students' engagement in the classroom using flipped classroom. Yeah, students gave positive responses and enthusiastic engagement in reading class. Yeah, they agreed that flipped classroom strategy can reduce anxiety in learning reading for English as foreign language learners. And then the card.
One more minute, please.
Yeah, thank you. Conclusion: implementing flipped classroom strategy based interactive media. Yeah, so the teachers not only give the reading materials, but also give interactive media. Students can play the media, yeah, at home. Yeah, depends on the students. Yeah, will play many times is okay, yeah, to improve their understanding in reading text. Yeah, and then teachers gave the learning materials. It created meaningful learning because there was students good participation and discussion during teaching learning process. It also helped EFL learners at reading comprehensions skill. This strategy can minimize, yeah, students' reading anxiety. Yeah, all of language skills, yeah, makes students anxiety. Yeah, reading, especially speaking, yeah, increase student anxiety. Yeah, why? Because they have no self-confidence. Yeah. But after using flipped classroom strategy, yeah, students had self-confidence because they were prepared at home. So in joining the online classroom, yeah, they have preparations, yeah, in discussion, in making questions and answer, yeah, from the teacher. Yeah, so our students agreed that flipped classroom strategy
Yeah,
gives
Ibu Siti, I'm so sorry, your time is up.
yeah.
I'm so
Okay,
sorry. I
thank
have
you.
to. Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can continue
Thank you,
in
Bu.
the Q&A,
Yeah.
and let's move to our next speaker, our next
Thank you, Bu
presenter,
Heni.
Ibu.
Thank you. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Yeah.
Ibu Marta. Ibu Marta, you can prepare yourself, and the time is yours. And for the audience, if you have questions, you can type your questions in the chat box.
Yeah, thank you, Ibu Heni. I'm Marta Nandari, and I'm a lecturer at the Faculty of Language and Arts, English Language Education, Universitas Kristen Satyawacana. in Salatiga. It's 1 hour drive from Semarang. It's very near. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I would like to share screen first. Yeah, my presentation title is Virtual International Joint Classroom Design for Intercultural Communication Practice. Is my screen sharing okay? And my voice?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Great.
All right.
Yeah, okay, Bu Marta.
And the purpose of the study is to explore a virtual international joint classroom design for intercultural communication practice. And then context of the study. The presentation outline, I will give, first of all, the context of the study, and then a brief overview of international communication skills theories, and then description of the international joint classroom design, the teacher's evaluation and feedback, and conclusion and recommendations. Now I'll start with the context of the study. Intercultural communication is a skill that cannot be acquired through understanding the theory, but it needs practice and experience. And student mobility programs such as a semester abroad, a summer course, or a short international student program may offer students with such experience, for intercultural communication experience. However, these programs, these student mobility programs, may be absent due to probably now we have COVID-19 pandemic, that actually avoid people from to travel, and also maybe there are financial constraints or maybe any other non-academic hindrances. And this study actually offers alternative program in a form of a virtual international joint classroom to meet the students' needs for intercultural communication practice, which is effective costs, which is cheap, and also during the pandemic, this can be done, very easily. Now I would like to give a brief overview of intercultural communication skills theories. Culture, in brief, can be described as a set of knowledge, behaviors, attitudes, ideas, and traditions formed within or owned and shared by a group of people and passed down from generation to generation. She's 2015. And cultural knowledge is deemed important for communication among peoples of different cultures. The same author. Now, how about cultural learning? Cultural learning is divided into 3 aspects, like Page et al., 2003. The first is cognitive, and then affective, and then behavioral aspects. The cognitive aspect of cultural learning is the learning of knowledge of culture, which includes the big C culture and little c culture. The big C culture are those that are visible, like the artifacts, all the cultural products. And the little c culture is something that is less visible, such as belief, values. And the affective culture learning is when learners can accept the learned culture as something positive, while the behavioral aspect of cultural learning is when one is aware of the learned culture and able to behave appropriately in the learned culture. And then the 3 aspects of cultural learning are best learned in context and under the circumstances of the learned culture. So theory alone in the classroom is not enough. And she, 2015, in her study, argued that cultural knowledge can be gained through cultural immersion, such as observing, participating in experiential learning, and engaging with a culture. The static approach of cultural learning regards cultural knowledge as unchanging. Yeah. That is Brooks, 1975. That's the old belief. Yeah, that is why it's you see that the source here is 1975. And the later belief of the approach of learning culture is the dynamic approach. The dynamic approach of cultural learning considers culture as constructed by a group of people, so it may change, and cultural learning should be obtained by interaction and communication with the local people. And cultural learning is to enable students to reflect their own culture in relation to, or possibly in contrast to, another culture. This is by McKay 2002, Krams 1993. So when students learn the other's culture, they actually should be able to know as well about their own culture better. So in other words, learning the culture of others are connected to the understanding of one's own culture. Now, how about intercultural communication? Intercultural communication is a situation where people or peoples who have different cultural backgrounds interact. ISA 2016. Intercultural communication is a symbolic, interpretive, transactional, contextual process in which people from different cultures create shared meanings. That's Kirik Alo, 2018. And the student's knowledge of the diversity of culture is important in cross-cultural encounters, in McKay 2002. So it's obvious that misunderstanding may occur should people communicate without understanding each other's cultures. Culture determines what we perceive, how we react to situations, and how we relate to other people. Hall and Hall, 1990. Now, how about the EFL students in Indonesia? In the context of learning English in Indonesia, where English is a foreign language, occasions when English is to be used will likely be among people of different nationalities with different cultural backgrounds. In other words, communication in English for Indonesian EFL learners or for Indonesian people will mostly be intercultural communication. So we see that how important it is for our EFL students in Indonesia. And effective intercultural communication needs linguistic skills. That's the English language or whatever language actually. And cultural knowledge and awareness. Now, cultural knowledge and awareness taught and practiced in class, again, will not suffice. Practice in real world situations and problems with firsthand experience using experiential learning or process-oriented tasks, as Wright 2000 called it, have been reported to be significantly useful. Yeah, so they should, when they want to have intercultural communication, they have to communicate in real world situations. Well, as I said, that communication in real world situation may be not possible this time because of the pandemic and other constraints. So that is why this is an alternative to that. That is by designing the joint classroom. And this is the joint classroom design that I would like to describe in this presentation. So the joint classroom design is between students from Indonesia and students from Japan, or students from the language, culture, identity class in Central Java, Indonesia. So this is the place, actually from Salatiga, and Indonesian language and culture class in Japan in Yokohama, near Yokohama, in a university in Yokohama. And then the objectives of the program: students understand the culture of their own as well as the culture of others, particularly on the topics discussed during the program. And then students are able to communicate interculturally with ease and confidence. Students grow interest in exploring further about each other's culture. Okay, so now I would like to describe what happens in the joint classroom design here. So before they meet on Zoom, they have introductions through Padlet. Yeah, I would like to show you the introduction on Padlet. Okay, I wonder if you can see my Padlet. Is it changed already, the screen? Or is it still the same, my PowerPoint or Padlet? Just to make sure.
Mine is on introduction to, but it doesn't move, Bu Marta.
Perkenalan intensif?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it's still PowerPoint. Okay.
It's still a PowerPoint. It's still a PowerPoint.
Sorry. I need to stop share first. Okay then. Okay. So this is now how they do the perkenalan on Padlet. Yeah, Padlet is an application. So they have like salam dari Fujisawa, salam dari Nagano, salam dari Kawasaki. And also the Indonesian would also say like here, what is it? Salam dari Solo, yeah. And then salam dari Bengkayang, Kalimantan Barat. So before they have the formal class, before they meet on Zoom, they have introduced themselves through Padlet, something like this. Okay, now I'll move to the PowerPoint again. So they have introduction. And then the next is that they have, the next topic is about students' life. So from our point, we give the students' life as anak kos, yeah. And what is it, life as anak kos? And also students' life at Universitas Kristen Satyawacana. And then after the presentation, so it's a short presentation about students' life as anak kos and their life in the campus. They are asked about how about life in your university. Yeah, so there is a shared ideas about that. And then, yeah, this is the material, Kehidupan Mahasiswa. And then after watching the presentation, the students are asked to share about life in their university. And then the second topic is about festivals. We give an exercise, something like this. Yeah, so festival and celebrations. So they have, after the presentation, we give exercise, something like that. With your partner, complete the following table with information about festivals and celebrations in Indonesia and Japan. And they can share. Okay. And then the next point is about work and leisure, and actually it's about part-time jobs for students in Indonesia and part-time jobs for students in Japan. And usually they have part-time jobs in a cafe, and so they shared a discussion about this. And then the last topic is about family. Yeah. Actually, I propose family as the first topic, but the Japanese lecturer opposed that. Yeah. Oh, no. Family is a sensitive issue. So we have to get to know one another better first for some time before we can talk about our family. So we put the topic as the last topic. Yeah. So family here is particularly talking about who does what in your family. And so students share information about that. And after the program, actually the program lasts for 5 weeks. And then I asked the teachers, so you know that there are actually 4 parallel classes. And I asked the 4 teachers to do evaluation. And this is what they, how many minutes, sorry?
One more minute.
Oh, 1 more minute, okay. Teachers' evaluation, benefits for learning culture, help students get culture awareness, students could see the culture differences, and then they understand also that people may have different attitudes because they have different culture. And then they also understand their culture better as they learn about the other culture. And also they want to know more about the counterparts culture. Another benefits, especially for intercultural communication skill, experience speaking with people with different culture, learn intercultural communication skills. And for some of the students, it's first time for them to speak with foreigners. And Indonesian students learn new ways of having intercultural communication challenges via Zoom or with poor internet connection. And then, of course, they practice English. And for the Japanese, actually, they practice Indonesian, which is a rare opportunity. And they also want to learn more. They also want to explore more about the topic discussed in class. But there are also drawbacks. The drawbacks mostly on language barrier, the English language, particularly on the Japanese. They speak English actually not so well. And some students are not confident enough, they are passive. And students are not prepared with PPT slides. So sometimes the Japanese search information by themselves in the internet. So teachers' recommendation, students be prepared with the skills to present information in the internet. Students should be prepared more on what to share and link assignment with language tasks so they will be more aware of the linguistic skills that they need. And debrief students right after session. This is important. So to give them reflection right after session and then motivate them more and boost their confidence. And the course outcomes, students understand the culture of their own as well as the culture of others. Students are able to communicate interculturally, although not confidently enough. And students grow interest in exploring further about each other culture. Students practice their language, English and Indonesian. And as a very short program, the program at least serves as a trigger to learn more. And to improve the design, prepare the students' linguistic skills, prepare the students with how to share information taken from the internet, have reflections right after sessions, give more motivation to the passive students and boost their confidence. Okay, thank you. That's my presentation, Bu Heni. So I'll stop here.
Thank you, Ibu Marta. Thank you for the inspiring presentations. And there are some questions in the chat box because we are running out of time. Probably the presenters, you can also directly answer questions in the chat box. That will be fine and save our time. And we can move now to the next presenter. We have Ibu Grace Gayatri. Yeah, okay, Ibu Grace Gayatri and her team. You have 15 minutes to present your topic. The time is yours.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, thank you. All right. Hello, everyone. Hi, I'm from Malaysia. Let me introduce myself first. I am an English teacher. I have a master's degree in education management, a master's degree in TESOL, and I'm currently doing my PhD. I have done this. Oh, let me share. Once I start talking, all right, let me share my presentation slide first. Can you see my slides?
Yes.
Hold on. Yeah. All right, so I have done this a small scale study with a friend of mine, Miss Geeta Bhaskaran. Unfortunately, she is not here today because she's doing some assessment with the students and she cannot be here for now. She will join us later. So I'll be presenting our work together. So this is a qualitative study on challenges in teaching online speaking lessons. I believe it is very important for teachers like myself. I'm teaching in a primary school, so does Geeta. So I believe it is important for teachers to expose what is actually happening in school. That is why we did this paper together. All right, let's look at the introduction. Let me move this first. Okay, it's distracting. All right. So the introduction. According to Martin, in 1987, that is like 34 years ago, speaking is a skill by which learners are most frequently judged by, because it is something that people people will judge students by how they speak. After the COVID pandemic had impacted education in all various levels, teachers had to quickly respond to force transition from face-to-face teaching to remote teaching or online teaching. Speaking lessons are hard to conduct face-to-face, even more so online. So that was our problem. Our problem is that teaching speaking was very difficult face-to-face, even more so online. So that challenge became a research problem. Why can't I? Oh. That challenge became a research problem, and we came up with 3 research questions. Our research questions were very simple because we want to just understand the root of the problem and what are the steps taken to solve this problem. Our first research question is, what are the platforms being used to teach an online speaking lesson? And we want to know how it is being used. So we want to understand how the speaking lesson took place. Second, what are the challenges teachers face in teaching speaking lessons online? So this question is asked to understand the problem at hand. Number 3, what are the strategies used in an online speaking lesson, and how did it help enrich the online speaking lessons? Obviously, we have not solved this problem, or else we will not have this paper in the first place. But we would like to understand the attempts taken to solve this problem. All right, let's go to the literature review. I have an extensive literature review, but I have only picked and cropped a little bit here. So let's start with the technology part of it first. There is a need for education updating in the 21st century educational problems, and technology is needed to learn at any time, at any place, and it was a way to it is a way to be achieved. But over the past 2 decades, online learning has been activated in some global institutes. In schools, in Malaysian schools, we do use online learning, but it is only as a substitute. It is not to fully take over, but just to substitute a little bit of learning. When it comes to speaking, after the many curriculum changes in Malaysia, I'm talking about the curriculum changes here in Malaysia, along with science and mathematics, the English language subject has gone through many changes. Recently, the English language subject had a shift of curriculum from KSSR to CFR syllabus. And CFR syllabus is an international standard for describing language ability, which is which is laid out in the English Language Education Reform in Malaysian Roadmap. It is a description that includes on a cultural setting in which language is used. When we're talking about the language that is being used, the emphasis here is on the productive skill, speaking and writing, because they are observable evidence of language acquisition. Teaching speaking is not easy. Teachers should create an optimal condition for developing learners' social knowledge that is culturally embedded rules for social behavior and their linguistic knowledge, which includes discourse, speech act knowledge, knowledge of the grammar, vocabulary, and phonology of target language. These language areas then must appropriately be activated in order to be made available for use in regular speaking practices in classroom and beyond. The skills of speaking is not automatically transferable from speaker's first language to the second language. Now, coming back to the classroom, reflecting back as a teacher, reflecting back the usage of English in Malaysian classrooms. Most of our students are not first language English speakers. We are second language speakers. Most of my students are Malay students. Some of them are Indian students. Some of them are Chinese students. So our first language is not English. And the skills of speaking is not transferable. According to Orlando and Artat in 2015, teaching with technology is not a one-size-fit-for-all approach, as it depends on the type of technology in use at the time and also the curriculum content that is being taught. So when it comes to teaching speaking, there is a specific way of teaching. Utilizing of guidance for students to be motivated in visual learning depends on the practice orientation on cognitive, emotional, behavioral engagement. So it is not just the strategy. There are also other factors that influence the effectiveness of teaching speaking online. So let's move on to the methodology. So our research design is a qualitative research. Okay, we have chosen a case study. We have done a purposeful sampling whereby we chose 4 teachers, 2 teachers from urban school, 1 teacher from a suburban school, and a teacher from a rural school. These teachers are chosen because they are trained English teachers. They have at least 5 years of working experience, and they are at the age, they are in their late 20s up to late 30s. So that is the age group that we want, because we don't want the teacher's age to be a defining factor on how effective or not effective this research is. The instruments that we use is we used interviews. We have done a lot of interviews, and all our interviews are semi-structured, whereby we have already have a list of questions prepared, and we have already conducted the pilot study. We also have done observation, whereby myself and Geeta, we observe the class. We just enter their classrooms, their online classrooms, and we just observe. We don't participate in their class. One thing that we do worry about when it comes to qualitative research is the research rigor. How valid and how reliable is our research? Lincoln and Guba in 1985 said the credibility of qualitative research can be attained when there is triangulation. Triangulation can be done by 2 methods. First is by using a large pool of sample. Unfortunately, since we are using a qualitative study, so we have used different methods. So we have used interviews and observation, and we have triangulated data from the data that we have collected. So this is a summary of how the flow from the research question all the way up to the data analysis. So we have 3 research questions, and we have all the instruments being used and how the data was collected. First, since we are doing a purposeful sampling, so we have located the site, the individual we want to interview and observe. We gain access and make a rapport whereby we have to ask for permission from their schools and all. We have purposefully choose our sample. We collected the data, we recorded the information. Here we have also given them consent forms and resolved all the field issues. And finally, we have stored the data. We have also analyzed our data using the data analysis spiral by Creswell 2018, whereby we manage and organize the data, read, memo, describe, classify, develop, assess, and represent, and visualizing the data, and that is an account of the finding. So basically what we did is we label, we coded, we categorized, and we themed. So let's move on to the results and discussion. So after interviewing and observing 4 teachers, what we have found out that is that all 4 teachers have reported that they have used more than one platform to teach online speaking lessons. So teacher A have reported that she has used Canva, Zoom, and Google Classroom. Teacher B, Zoom and Schoology. Teacher C, Google Meet and Zoom. Teacher D, Google Classroom and Edmodo. And teacher D also have reported that Edmodo was she was not successful in using Edmodo because the children are too young. They don't know how to function the platform. But here we can also see that there is a preference for Zoom and Google Meet. So how the class was conducted. After the interview, we have concluded that all 4 teachers have a structure that they follow. First, they have introduced the content, they delivered the content, they took a break, and then they have given the activities, and then followed by presentation. Because we are talking about the speaking lesson here, we have to hear the students speak for us to be able to assess. So there are a lot of, they have reported they have done both individual and group presentation. And they have also reported that they have presented, the students have presented either live, like what we are doing right now, or they have recorded their presentation and send it to the teachers so that their work can be assessed later. And finally, there's a conclusion. So let's look at the challenges. After doing a thematic analysis of all the data that had been collected, we have come up with 5 challenges that teachers face in teaching an online speaking lesson. First is the transition from medium of instruction. So these are the things that, according to these teachers, things that they have taken for granted. Google Meet, Zoom is a new platform, and both students and teachers are learning how to use the platform. As teachers learn how to use the platform fairly quickly, but the students, they are very confused as to how to engage in that platform. Most of them are, they don't know when to speak, they don't understand certain cues. So these are the problems that arise. Second is the learning hindrance, whereby students have short attention span and they are distracted. When it comes to distraction, there are 3 types of distraction that is mentioned by all these 4 teachers. First is the tool itself. Since they're using their phones or they're using their laptops, the tool itself is a distraction whereby they just put their mic on mute and they just turn off their camera and they do something else. Second are their family members. Since most of these children do not have a specific place at home to study. Okay, so they use.
1 more minute, please.
All right, thank you so much. So, for example, they use the table in the kitchen to study. So other family members are very distracting. Second is the classroom itself, whereby, for example, if let's say the PowerPoint does not work or somebody forget to mute their microphone, so there is there's a distraction there. Third is the access to stable internet. This is very common. And number 4 is the content and instructional strategies. Teaching online, speaking online, they have to be able to be creative in managing tasks, coordinating group activities, and doing assessment. One theme that we did not expect to come up is work schedule. Parents have different work schedules, and sometimes they share their gadgets with their children. So parents often ask flexibility in online lesson hours. When we look at these challenges, we can see two kind of challenges. First, challenges that is in the teacher's control, and second, challenges that are not in the teacher's control. So here are two challenges that are in the teacher's controls, and steps were taken to solve this problem. First, the medium of transition and instructional strategies. So since we are using a new medium of learning, so new classroom rules were created, sign language was created, there was fixed group activities. Teachers avoid using various instructional strategies in a short time, but at the same time, they do not fix with a single strategy. So this is a very contradicting statement, whereby when I asked for explanation, this is what they told me. It is important for them to use various strategies, but it is also important for the students to know what the teacher is doing. It is important to give the students time to understand how a strategy works, because they have never been exposed to these strategies before. Teachers also use games, songs, and projects. When it comes to assessment, various types of assessments was used, both online and offline. They also use topics that are familiar with the students, so that people are more confident in using the language, and there are genuine attempts to answer the questions given. So now we are at the conclusion stage. So we had 3 questions, and we have known that 2 platforms.
Miss Grace, I'm so sorry, the time is up.
All right. Can I finish?
Is it the last slide you have?
I have this last slide. Okay, so let me conclude with sharing by 2 teachers. Teachers said that online classroom can never be as effective as physical classroom, but teacher B said that they can only hope that the student will be able to improve and make the best of it. Teacher C said that she hoped that the teachers will not be discouraged and be encouraged to use the new platform, though it is difficult. That's all for today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss Grace. All right. Well, I don't think that we have more time for the first sessions. We have used all of the times, but I'm so happy that we can make these discussions as effective as possible through the chat box. And thank you for the presenter, for Ibu Marta, who has willingly answered the participants' questions to the chat box. So let's just take this way, because it seems that all of the presentations are very interesting, and I couldn't let myself cut in the middle just now of your presentations, because it's very interesting, and it will be insightful for each of us here. So let's just take that way. if you have questions for the presenters, please type your questions in the chat box. In case we don't have time, then you can get the question and also the answers in the chat box. And for the next sessions, well, actually we will start in 3 minutes and we have 5 minutes break, but now it's already 11:37, so we only have 3 minutes left. For some of you, if you want to take these 3 minutes for your break, that's fine. We will start again at 11:40 with 3 next presenters. We are going to have Ibu Anna Melvarolina. Are you here? All right. Okay, great. And then we will also have Dr. Wigati. Dr. Wigati, or her team, Juwita, Ibu Juwita Purnamasari. Are you here with us? Are you here with us, Ibu, or this team? The topic is the use of Sentanis. What is it? Yeah, Ibu Wigati and her team. Hopefully she will join us later. And we will also have Ibu Lia. Ibu Lia is already here. Okay, that's great. Okay, we will start the next sessions in the next couple minutes. Ibu Anna, if you want to prepare yourself, that's fine. You can prepare your slide. And again, for the first session just now, if you still have questions for the presenters, for Ibu Siti, Ibu Marta, or or Miss Grace from Malaysia, you can type your questions in the chat box, and I really hope the presenters can answer the questions in the chat box. Yeah, for those who just joined this room B, welcome to room B. And we are about to start the second turns of these parallel sessions with the next 3 presenters. All right. Okay, Ibu Anna, are you ready?
Yes, I think I can start it now.
All right. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ibu Anna Melvarolina.
Sorry, it's Anna May Farolina with I. With I.
It's Ibu Anna May Farolina.
Thank
All
you.
right. Okay. Sorry. Okay. The time is yours.
Could you see my PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, I can see it, but there is a block. There is a gray block covering a part of your title. If you can read.
Sorry, I will reshare it. How about now? Is it clear?
Clear. Great.
Thank you very much. So, good morning, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity for the presentation today. First of all, I would like to present myself. My name is Anna May Farolina, and actually I'm a French teacher in Institut Français d'Indonésie. So I teach French for the adult public and then the kids also in the weekend. And in this good occasion, I would like to present my article with the title is the usage of the song J'ai trouvé des amis by Trio in French language teaching concerning the storytelling at A1 level in Institut Français d'Indonésie. Yes, first of all, I would like to present to you my background of the research, why I take this theme to my presentation. I would like to share to you about French and globalization era. And first of all, we all know that Indonesia is on the globalization era, which require the younger generation to compete globally in accordance with the goals of Indonesian education. And there's so many ways to complete globally their competence in the era of globalization. And one of the way is having a foreign language. We all know that English is the most useful language in the world, but we also know that there are so many foreign language. Then we can know that we have so many benefits in mastering of foreign language, such like a priority for the Indonesian people because it can provide benefits to understand the culture of another countries. Like not just like that, but we can also communicate more effectively with the person from another country. And we all know the English as a first place, and the Chinese, and the third language that I want to share about this language today is French language. As we know that French is the one of foreign language that has many speakers in the world. There's a Francophonie association for the French speaker in the world with 60 participants, 60 countries as a participant. And French is also used in so many association, world association, just like PBB and then also United Nations. And French is conducted by 4 competence. The first one is listening skill, and then reading skill, and then speaking skill, and writing skill, which has a level also from the beginner until advanced. And this concept is from the CRL, ou Cadre Européen de Cadre Référence pour la Langue, or that's a reference for the language in Europe, with the level from A1 to C2 level. A1 is the most beginner, and then C2 is advanced level. And then there's 4 competence, and I would like to present to you today is speaking skill, the useful one. Why I can say that it's so useful? Because the speaking skill, that's so useful for the objective of communication, negotiation, presentation, and description. And then from the speaking skill itself, we can have so many time to learn, and from the part of communication, how to communicate, how to negotiate, how to present, how to describe. And one of the time in presentation is storytelling about the past experience. Why I'm interested to talk about this theme is because using the passé composé grammar, as known as the past tense in French, that's one of the most difficult tense to learn from the French learners, because there's a variation of conjugation of verbs and tenses. So it will be so horrible to talking about passé composé in the French class. So why studying with music? As we know that we are all connecting with music. Who doesn't know about Spotify? Who doesn't know about YouTube? And yes, music is so popular in students. Then I would like to present to you the nature of music. 3 benefits from the music. First one, as a literature. The purpose of a literature is rather than make readers into consumer, is make them a part of literature. So we can be a part of music. And then, as I said, everyone's music is everyone's favorite. And nowadays, almost all students enjoy listening to the song in various situations. In the good condition, in the sad condition, bad condition, if they're happy, if they're sad. It represents the students' feelings as well. And then there are even some students who like to sing. Me too, I love singing. I love singing. And then good for exchange. So interpreting song lyrics in class can be then a brilliant opportunity to exchange view, to see how much the community member have something in common, and have also learned to see the world from another person's point of view. I mean, if you listen to the music, you just don't keep it to yourself, but you can exchange to your friends, to your teacher, to your family members, and so on. That's very close to us. And then I'm trying to search what kind of language teaching method that can using the song. So I choose language teaching, communicative language teaching, or CLT. That's teaching method, a foreign language teaching method with goal of the language learning is communicative competence. And then a student can acquire the desired skill quickly and with fun. So I would like to give a bold with fun. So it can reduce the stress of the foreign language learner. And then students do not use their mother tongue. So we have to minimize as well the use of mother tongue. We can use as well our foreign language in the classroom. And then target language is used both during communicative activities and for the classroom management purposes. And then CLT focus and aims to communicative competence. So there will be a discussion, exchange, presentation, and it will make the class more energetic. And then for the method, I will use this research was conducted at Institut Français d'Indonésie, specifically in Jakarta at A1 level for the adult public. And then I used the qualitative descriptive research method for this method. And then let's talking about results and discussion. And what the researcher did, I did in the classroom with the song. The first one, I had to make a lesson plan. First of all, read carefully the syllabus that has been determined in the teaching for one cycle. So I have to determine what kind of competence I would like to teach today, and that's preparation, including the preparation of mise en route, or we can know as getting started, how to start a lesson, and then conceptualization, for conceptualizing a grammar, and then systematization or practice, language practice, and then production, make some products, make some presentation with the grammar things. And then let's go to the implementation at the classroom. So first of all, I did the mise en route. I greet all the students as asked about what do they feel today. Are you feeling great? Bonjour, comment ça va? Ça va bien? Ça va pas bien? Just like that. How are you? And then I just show my photos on Instagram related to the last vacation after Corona. And then I said, I start to lead the students towards today's learning topic by asking, c'est qui dans cette photo? Who is on the photo? And then, ils sont où? So that means, where are they? With is they with? Are they with family or with friends? And then, les activités sont au présent ou au passé? I mean, is the activities are or present tense or past tense? I would like to make the students conscient that today we're gonna learn about past tense.
3 more minutes, Miss Anna.
Thank you. Entrée en matière, I just divide the students into 3 groups consisting 4 people, and then I distribute the lyric piece of 3 songs. J'ai trouvé des amis. It's just like a pop song, really easy listening. And then the teacher asked the students to arrange the song lyrics. And then the teacher played the song as authentic French learning document twice, with a pause in each playback for approximately 5 minutes. And then they will compose the lyrics in the group. And then I use also the learning apps to arrange. If you do it as an online course, you can use the learning apps. That's interesting. And then that's the, you can see, as you can see, there's a lot of past tense grammar in this song. So after that, I would like, make my students conscious that we're going to talk about the past tense, and that's the grammar point. And then I use this one as games, interactive games to my students for the systematization. And then I use the game board as a competition because my students love competition so much. And then for the production, I asked my students to tell their last vacation experience in the form of a monologue for 1 minute. And then the teacher creates a learning atmosphere, like imagine you're in contest about a unique holiday experience. So tell your experience in front of your friends as judges who will decide the most unique story. There will be a winner. I prepare also some just like appreciation, so they will present as well. And then conclusion. Yes, so I would conclude my presentation as song is a part of literature, and that can be used as a means of student discussion that can increase interaction because the student, which aims to develop students' language skill. And then the teacher can make games and grammar exercise to strengthen students' language skill. And then student will create a mini project in the form of monologue. And to make the classroom atmosphere lively, the teacher creates a discussion forum. And student can participate by choosing the best monologue. So that's the point of communicative language teaching. It can emphasize the students' communication skill by learning. I think that's all. Thank you for attention.
Thank you, Ibu Anna, for your very interesting presentation. Right. Next, we will have the next speaker. It seems that Ibu Wigati just joined us, so I think I have to let Ibu Lia go first. And then after Ibu Lia's presentations, we will have Ibu Dr. Wigati's presentations. Ibu Lia, this is your turn right now. You can prepare yourself. And again, for other participants, if you have questions for our presenters today, you can write your questions in the chat box and the presenters will answer the questions. If we still have time, I will open the Q&A questions for giving you a chance to directly ask the presenters. Ibu Lia, are you ready?
Thank you very much, Ibu Henny. I will try to share my material.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Ibu Henny, could you please see my PowerPoint?
Yeah, I can see it. I can
Thank you
see
very
it,
much. Yeah.
but it's not in slideshow yet. Just click the slideshow and then it will be ready to go. Okay, great.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, good morning, audience. Thank you very much for the attention. I'm Lia. I'm going to share my paper entitled Encouraging Students to do Collaborative Learning in ESP Course to Strengthen Student Oral Communication Skill. Audience, as stated by Kerlach, 1994, collaborative learning is based on the idea that learning is a naturally social act in which the participants talk among themselves. Collaborative learning is a strategy of teaching and learning in the form of grouping students to work together to solve a problem, complete an assignment, and also produce a product. The idea was supported by UCIDA 2003, stated that collaborative learning increases learners' motivation and promotes harmonious group dynamics, lowering classroom anxiety and facilitating interaction in the classroom, as well as an individual sense of self-competence and self-worth. Penich, 1999, stated that numerous benefits have been described for collaborative learning. He summarizes into four major categories. Those are social, psychological, academic, and assessment as in the following. For the social benefit, collaborative learning helps to develop a social support system for learners, meaning that as stated in the idea of collaborative learning, that collaborative learning is a strategy of teaching and learning in the form of grouping students to work together to solve problems and complete the assignment and also produce a product. So it is a kind of a training for a student to learn how to socialize with people that prepare them in the working field. And the second one, collaborative learning leads to diversity understanding among students, meaning that the project assigned has a team that should be deliberated to complete the project. The project needs one idea that should be agreed by all members. That's why it needs understanding to tolerate, respect, and help each other. Collaborative learning establishes a positive atmosphere for modeling and practicing collaboration. The atmosphere created is enjoyable. Teachers put themselves to be a facilitator and consultant. And for the last social benefit, collaborative learning develops learning communities. And for the psychological benefits, student-centered instruction increase student self-esteem, meaning that students be active and participate and also to be creative and innovative, and those characters develop students' self-esteem. Cooperation reduces anxiety, meaning that students do not work individually, but in a team. So the atmosphere helps a lot to reduce the anxiety. Collaborative learning develop positive attitude toward teachers. For the academic benefit, promotes critical thinking skill. It promotes critical thinking as students have to enlarge the student knowledge. Students use the past knowledge, students also use the language, and even students have to produce a product. Those activities will sharpen the student skill. Problem-solving technique is one of the strategies used to make the student active involved in the learning process. And large lectures can be personalized. Even though students are placing in a team, teacher in collaborative learning also observe individual consultation. And alternate student and teacher assessment technique utilize a variety of assessment, meaning that the assessment coming from some sources, from the process, the performance, and also the product result. Oral communication is an important skill to be learned as it could express ideas, opinions. It uses to discuss knowledge and bridge the communication for one who do not understand English. So the purpose of this research was collaborative learning was used to see the improvement of the student ability to speak up. The subject was 32 students of the accounting department at Polytechnic of Malang. And the method used was the action research, reflecting, planning, acting, and observing. The technique of collecting the data by using the pre-test, post-test, questionnaire, and observation. The project assigned to the students, the project was wrapped in the package of the business meetings, equipped with real-life cases related to the business that students are going to face. In this stage, the student was made a lot like a natural situation, including the costume and the seat arrangement, aided with the various interactive multimedia. The setting of the chairs and the table originally as an authentic meeting room, students wearing the authentic costume. The step of doing the project, firstly, on the first meeting, students are asked to search for the material. It comes from the authentic course book, students learn, and online learning materials for the supporting materials from the internet. And then comprehending, summarizing, and synthesizing for the second meeting, and then creating PowerPoint, drafting, and creating the dialogue for the third meeting, and then practicing the concept for the fourth meeting, and then performing for the business meeting for group 1 and group 2, for the fourth and the sixth meeting for group 3 and 4. This is one of the example, the material given or assigned to the students, talking about the hijacking. The student discuss about the undisclosed profit target among the groups, and then, within group, monthly selling graph, and then company's income statement for profit and loss profit, as it is for the accounting students, and the result of the market observation. And then the alternative solution of the problem created, students try to increase by using the advertisement, modifying product, and then conducting exhibition, moving area distribution, or creating the product innovation. For finding and discussion, students found that the authentic articles were hard to comprehend it. To cover it, the researcher suggested the student to find the simplest authentic materials and comprehend those articles which were related to the topics discussed. In the authentic article, students found some new business expression, business terms, and new vocabularies. The researchers suggest to use some of those terms or vocabularies to be practiced in the dialogue to be used for their presentation. And the result will help students to enrich their vocabularies and knowledge of the topic discussed of the project. To cope the student problem of low self-confidence, the researcher attempt to have personal approach to get closer relationship. Students were convinced that mistakes in learning English were inevitable, while making mistakes should not be avoided. Mistakes would be beneficial for students to learn. When the self-confidence increased, it also affected the student fluency on performing the business meeting project. In the first performance, the atmosphere created was awkward as it was the first student presentation experience. What the student did mostly were based on the draft created, no gesture and no intonation stressing. But for the changing of the character happened when starting on the second project, the student's self-confidence was improved. The researcher was more convinced that implementing a business meeting project by implementing the collaborative learning was a good instruction model because the strategy led the student to become more independent learners, to be more creative, to outcome product, to enrich the student knowledge, and to help students to be a problem solver. And those skills were needed in the working field. The chance in practicing collaborative learning set off the classroom increased the communication and interaction. The activities directed to the life skills that support natural language production. This is in line with what Newberry and Hayes 2006 said that when the student experienced a problem during the process of their learning, they were more likely to make connection and thus see the value in what they were learning. This is one of the examples of the student PowerPoint in doing the project assigned to them. They try to create a company as if they are the owner of the company, and the name of the company here is Sampan Company. And then they also talk about their financial statement, about the loss and profit they have for some years. And then they try to have a project. This is the topic of the project, extraordinary colorful housing on a cliff. They said that this is the first one in the world. And they also create some facilities for the project to serve for the customer. And this is the location plan, just imagining it is the location plan of their project. And then they have the main concept for auto service technique, biotechnique, eco-friendly, healthy organic food, ultra-modern luxury, and impressive view. This is the developer, as if they use the developer, this is the name of the developer. And then they also facilitated the interior housing. And then this is the building structure they have. This is the videos. I'm sorry, this can't be used. And this is the conclusion. Giving the chance to students to practice oral communication is vital. This is because language learners are expected to be good either on the language knowledge, but also in language use. Communication that functions as the process of transferring information to another improves student own performance and self-confidence. Setting up collaborative learning creates non-threatening classroom climate, with challenging students' cognitive abilities, engage personally, and increase interest. And thus, collaborative learning created goes with the expectation of exposing students to the real world to acquire an effective learning the target language. The atmosphere created was enjoyable. Students would not feel anxiety in learning English, no burden in completing the project assignment. Creativity's responsibility, tolerate, respect to other, and help each other were appeared automatically. Students have chances to improve their skill and knowledge. Students retain more data from thoughtful discussion, and students have a more positive perspective regarding learning by working together. I think that's all my presentation. Thank you very much. All my PowerPoint, sorry.
Thank you, Ibu Lia. Thank you for the wonderful presentation.
Thank you very much.
And if you have questions, later you will answer it either in the chat box, or later if we still have time, we can open the Q&A sessions. Okay, the next opportunity will be given to Dr. Wigati Jaktining Tias. Ibu Wigati, are you ready?
Yes. Ibu Henny, thanks a lot for the time. Sorry, I was lost in room D. Okay.
I know.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon, Ibu Henny, and also good afternoon, everyone. This afternoon, I want to bring you to Jayapura, to Papua. I want to talk, to share a bit about the use of Santanis or Homo wood carving in learning English for senior high school students in Jayapura, Papua. I wrote this with a teacher. She is now in Merauke, Papua. Okay, the introduction of this research is next, Mbak Ormas, who helped me. Okay, Santani in Jayapura is very rich with folklore. Santani people live in islands and edge of Lake Santani in Jayapura. It is very beautiful. And Ohomo or wood carving is one of the folklore. So they have it in houses, musical instruments, eating tools, hunting tools, and so on. Besides wood carving, we also have stone carving actually. So I have to underline Ohomo is a wood carving. Well, unfortunately, Homo is not recognized anymore, infusing a Homo in English learning. Okay, next. Okay, in Jayapura, learning writing and speaking in high schools are challenging, in the sense that teachers have to have strategies, special strategies to help them, to help the students to write and talk, speak. Okay, research, it's also a proof in research in 2019, proved that high school students like cultural contextual learning in some subjects. So we think that by infusing a Homo in learning, writing and speaking, we can help the students, can help also the Ohomo to be preserved and disseminate this to young generation, especially disseminate the social culture and also the values embedded in Ohomo. Okay, next. Okay, this study aims to discuss the socio-cultural background of Ohomo and why infusing it in learning English. And the second one is we talk about the process of learning writing and speaking in high schools using Ohomo, especially in Jayapura. Next, please. Okay, the methodology, this study is a development of previous research on Malo and Ohomo in 2013. And then data of Ohomo were enriched in June to July 2020 by having namely tribal chiefs, and Tifa and Hote finally are chosen to be infused in the learning process. We also have FGD, which was held in the end of July 2020, and then tryout with students, about 15 students, was conducted in online, using online class in August 2020. Next, please. Okay, findings and discussion. Sociocultural background of Homo and why infusing it in English learning. Number one is the fact that some tiny people like art, and Homo wood carving is one of their products. Second one, some tiny people decorated their homes, music instruments, hunting tools, eating tools, gardening tools with Homo. And Homo reflects history, mythology, and also sociocultural values. Each sub-tribe in Santani has special motifs. For example, tribal chiefs and common people have different motifs. Basic motif of Homo is like a water circle that people call it foe, which is then transformed into some figures like flora and fauna. And some Homo are painted red, white, and black, and some are not. And only men do the carvings. Next, please. Ibu Bapak, this is the examples of a Homo. So the left one is the foe, the circles, and that the circle is then transformed into some subjects like tifa, plate, and also in some status. Next, please. Next, Mas. And actually, there are some transformation of modern Homo in public spaces. They are like in airports and tiny, in also in the new stadium for PON 2020, I guess. But sometimes the students or people don't realize that actually that's the transformation of a Homo. Okay, so this is also our reasons why we want to bring a Homo to class, especially for young students, to learn about a Homo and also realize the transformation in their surroundings. Okay, next, please. Yeah, why infusing a Homo in learning writing and speaking? Number one is we have the opportunity, we have the space, okay? We have the local excellence in Santani. That's based on curriculum 2013 and also the regulation of Jaipur region about the use of local language and cultural heritage in 9 customary areas, especially in education. And number 3 is the decree of Minister of Education and Culture concerning about the curriculum implementation in education units, especially in a special condition. And number 4, by infusing this, we can motivate students to learn content, the culture, and language at once. And number 5 is preserving and disseminating a Homo and social cultural values embedded. And 6 is motivating English teachers to infuse culture in English learning. Next. Three types of. The first one is the teachers displaying the pictures of a Homo, Tifa and Hote. Hote is applied, and also showing the real Tifa and Hote to students, and then having discussion with them, and then also ask them to explore a Homo by giving them comics, okay, related to a Homo. We don't give them tags because we instead using comics because we want to motivate students to read because reading habit is still challenging to hear in Jayapura. And then after they read the comics, we ask them to write about descriptive text about what they read, and then ask them for the presentation. And then after that, we have a discussion on the student's presentation. Okay, next, please. Okay, this is only the examples of comics, still very simple. This is made by the Ibu Juwita Ginting as the teachers. This is only example of how to motivate and how to help the students here in Jayapura to improve the reading habits. So this is simple. Next, please. This also still next month. Okay, next again. Next, yeah. Okay, this is very simple. Okay, very simple. But the students like it. Okay, the second one is we invite the artist, homo artist, to virtual class, and then ask her or him to demonstrate creating or making a homo with a motif. Ask the students to have, they also here on the pictures, the students practice in drawing the motifs. And then after that, we ask the students to write the context about what the artist said in the virtual class. Next, please. Okay, in here, because they are senior high school students, mostly they have a motorbike, so they can go to the island here to Aceh. Aceh is one of the islands in Sentani who still produce the homo. So the students can learn directly from the local people or the artists. So they can learn, they can have interview, so they have new experience to be in the island. They can have experience to ask the artist, and they can touch it and anything. Okay, and then after that, we ask the students to make recount or report text, or maybe with video about their experience with local people and the artists of Ohomo in Aceh Island. And then the last one is next month. Yeah. This is the last learning process. Is we ask the students to watch the transformation of Ohomo in public places in Jayapura. There are many actually, but they don't realize that. And then after that, to write recount text they have seen in public space about Ohomo. Finally, actually, we want them to have a kind of pride and having, like awareness. This is our identity, and hopefully they can, Ohomo can be preserved among the young generation of Sentani. Next. Yeah, Ibu Bapak, finally we come to the conclusion. We conclude that learning by experiencing directly can improve students' enthusiasm. Okay. And the repackaging of cultural heritage can be an interesting material for students. And then a challenging project will help students to explore more things. And number 4 is interesting Ohomo in learning process. Can help the students to learn 2 things at once. The first one is about the language, and the second one is about the content or the culture. In this sense is Ohomo. So cultural preservation and social awareness hopefully can be achieved. So Ibu Bapak, that's all from me, my share. Thank you very much, Ibu Hani. Good afternoon, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Wikati. That's very interesting and inspiring. And Ibu Wikati is the last presenter in the second sessions of today's parallel sessions in this room. And okay, it's great. Now we have time. We still have about 10 minutes for Q&A sessions because we are supposed to finish at 12:40. In the chat box, there is a questions for Ibu Anna. Ibu Anna, you are still here. Okay, do you want to answer it directly or you want to type it? Because now we have the time.
Actually, I prefer to type it.
Oh, okay, okay then. Okay, then you can type your answer there. And now I offer everyone's here to give questions, or maybe you want to say something to the presenters, especially the last three presenters we have, Ibu Anna, Ibu Gati, and also Ibu Lia. Any questions? Anyone who wants to address directly to the presenter? Yeah, it seems that the questions we have in the chat box have been answered by all of the presenters. And the last questions for Ibu Anna has also Bu Anna has also answered the questions. Hopefully, the answers make the questioner feel satisfied.
Yeah. Is it clear for the response? Mrs. Andy. Yeah. Is it clear? Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu Anna.
Excuse me, may I ask Ibu Wikati, Ibu Hen?
Sure, sure, Ibu Lia, sure, please.
Thank you very much for the chance, Ibu Wikati. I think teaching the Papua students is not an easy one. It is difficult to motivate them because it might the background knowledge they have, it might. So could you please tell me the way how to motivate students to be active and participate in your strategy?
Thank you, Ibu Lia, right? For the question. It's very interesting question. That's true that we need various strategies to help them in learning English. It's not only for high school students but also for the university students too. Okay, so based on our research and also my research too, that the students in Papua are very happy with contextual learning, Ibu. So if we infuse contextual material, for example, folk tales, folk songs, dances, and so on, they're happy. They have like emotional ties with the material. So finally, it's like they're motivated to learn it. Maybe because they think, oh, okay, this is ours, so I want to learn it. So that's it. So sometimes the problem is also with the teachers, because not all teachers are Papuan. Okay, and then if we talk about Papuan is very big. In Papua, we have more than 300 local languages. Okay, this is not dialect but local languages, and also we have hundreds of cultural heritages. And since the teachers are not from Papua, you see, so the teachers also how to, but now we also in maybe last 2 years, the teachers and also some lecturers from Unchen are preparing supplementary materials, Ibu. That's contextual materials for the students in high schools using cultural heritages in learning some subjects like English, Indonesian, physics, chemistry, biology, anthropology, and so on. And it works well, Ibu Lia.
Thank you very much, Ibu Wikati. But then how do you put the content that you already practice with the student here in the curriculum? Do you have some obstacle for this?
Obstacles. The first, yes, but finally, thanks goodness, because government also interfere via the Department of Education. We have about 20% of space in the curriculum to have our local curriculum. So it works, Ibu.
So it works, yeah. Thank you very much, Ibu. It's really wonderful.
Thanks a lot, Ibu, for the questions. Thanks a lot.
Welcome, Ibu.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Lia, for the questions, and also thank you, Ibu Wikati, for giving us some ideas about teaching and learning situations in Papua. That's quite challenging but interesting. All right. Is there any other questions? No? All right. Okay, if there is no other questions from the audience, we still have 3 other presenters in this room. Well, actually, we are supposed to have a break, but I'd like to offer it to you. Do you want us to have the break, or we can just go on with the next presenter?
Directly to the next presenter, Bu Eni.
Okay, all right.
So yeah, I also agree.
Okay, all right. So okay, so you can have your own break. If you need to move your body, then you can move your body at your place.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you. All right. Okay, for the next turns, we will have 3 other presenters. We will have Ibu Andi Putri. I guess is already here.
Yes, I'm here, Bu.
Oh, okay, Miss Andi. And then we also have Ibu Hesti. Ibu Hesti, are you here with us?
Yes.
All right, okay, Ibu Hesti is here. And then the last presenter will be Ibu Dr. Fitri. I think, yes, she's also here. Hello, Ibu Fitri.
Hello, Winnie. Yes, I'm already here.
All right, great. Okay, so we have 3 presenters who are ready to share their ideas in the next sessions. I will just go directly to these last sessions. Each presenters will have 15 minutes. And before you start your presentations, you can introduce yourself. And after 15 minutes, the next presenters will follow. For audience, if you have questions, you can also type your questions in the chat box just to anticipate we don't have much time left after the presentations. All right, we will just start with the first presenters, Ibu Andi, Miss Andi. Miss Andi Putri, are you ready?
I'm ready, Bu. Allow me to share my screen, okay?
Yeah, please.
Oh, it's not here. Wait a minute. Oh, it should be here.
We have made you as the co-host, so I guess you can share your screen right now.
I'm trying to, but I think it's disappear. Wait a minute. Oh, can someone
It was
just
there. It was
help?
there.
Oh, it was there. Wait a minute. It's here.
Yeah, okay, good.
Could you see my PowerPoint slide?
Yes, clear.
Okay. Okay, let me begin the presentation. Good afternoon. I am so grateful for this opportunity to be here today. My name is Andi Putri Yashvin, and you can call me Yashvin. I am currently pursuing a bachelor's degree in English literature at Bina Nusantara University. So today I am going to be presenting my paper entitled Barriers and Needs, Binus University Students' Perceptions of E-Learning During the COVID-19 Pandemic. The author is me and my lecturer, Dr. Clara Helena Karjo. So this presentation would be separated into introduction, literature review, method, findings, and conclusion. So universities remark e-learning as one of the impactful learning models. These learning models have been applied and studied in various countries. We need to use personal computer or the internet to gain access to teaching and learning activities. Although it might not be a familiar learning model in Indonesia, especially among the students, a lot of higher educations have been using this teaching method since the pandemic started. Previous studies suggested two polar of students' perceptions, such as advantages and disadvantages of e-learning. There are many beneficial features of e-learning, yet some previous studies conducted in 2020 has not discussed about, some previous studies about this e-learning haven't discovered previous studies so COVID-19 has been a challenge in higher education for a half and a year. Thus, research about students' perceptions in this current situation is in demand. This research aims to, first, to explore students' barriers during online learning. Second, to explore students' needs for online learning. And third, to discover a suitable learning model for the post-pandemic situation. And here are the literature review. The advantages of e-learning are reduced costs, accessible, flexible, promote autonomy, and offer unlimited resources. Meanwhile, the disadvantages are lack of motivation, not able to understand the material, absence of direct communication and teamwork, connection problem, and lack of technical skills. There are also barriers experienced by students, which are issues in contacting faculty, internet interruption, and incomprehensible materials. Also from other previous studies, lack of proper online training, learner dominance of the English language, and limited communication with lecturers is the most experienced barriers by students. If there are barriers, then students need solutions. Students need social presence, such as interaction between their lecturer and friends, technological aspects, and learning tools. Some students recommend that they should attend video conference, do assignments, solve questions, review materials, and lesson writing model in Thailand, students tend to choose online learning, especially senior students, because they have fewer courses than the freshmen. And in a different previous study reveals that IT students like online learning, while management students prefer traditional learning. On the other hand, blended learning give a positive impact for students' performance. Notes from lecturers, online quizzes, and online assignments, and video recordings, and also websites, are the most sought teaching methods in e-learning. This study is a mixed method research using a survey design. The questionnaire consists of closed-ended and open-ended, is made via Google form and spread online. The open-ended questions would help us to reveal their preferences, while closed-ended questions reveals their opinion about e-learning. The sample is 100 Bina Nusantara University students from various programs of studies. And these charts show demographic information of students who were taking this survey. We could see from this chart that there are 55% male and 45% female aged between 17 and 21, with the majority of them are 18 years old, and they are the majority of students who are taking this survey is in their first semester. Now for findings, our first problem formulations is what barriers do students experience throughout their e-learning session? We found out that the top 5 disadvantages are lack of comprehension, lack of interaction, slow internet connection, demotivation, and technical issues. And for the barriers, the top 5 barriers experienced by students are slow internet connection or no cellular data, lack of comprehension, demotivation, Binus-Maya problem, and lack of interaction. Students' level of understanding is low, with half of the participants only understand 1/4 to half of the lectures. Now, the second problem formulations are, what do students need to improve their e-learning experience? Students feel the advantages of e-learning, and the most exposed advantages are flexibility, since they can arrange their schedule and learn anytime, anywhere. Time saving, because they don't have to waste their time commuting. Instead, they could do their homework at home. Practical and simple. Students do not need to go to campus to submit their assignment. And also they could just access their materials through the internet. Autonomy. Students feel confidence in learning by themselves. Cost-saving, and lastly, safety. Students believe that e-learning could decrease physical contact between each other. And students need fast internet connection, such as free cellular data aid, motivation, such as determination, the right intention, and high concentration, hardware, for example, a personal computer, phone, and laptop, to be active during lessons, lecturer, such as interactive lecture, feedback, and many more. And lastly, more video conference classes and Binus-Maya maintenance. This is the last problem formulation. What is the ideal post-pandemic learning method for students? We found out that students show a positive attitude toward blended learning rather than online learning or face-to-face learning. And they also like the combination of 70% face-to-face learning and 30% e-learning for the blended learning model. And for the teaching method, students have a tendency to choose PowerPoint as a presentation and followed with videos recording, link resources, and PowerPoint, the combination of link resources and PowerPoint. Conclusion. COVID-19 has changed teaching and learning activities in higher education. These results have a slight difference from some previous studies due to different cultures and situations. Students need a fast internet connection, motivation, hardware, active during lessons, lecturer, more video conference classes, and Binus Maya maintenance to improve their e-learning performance. And they also like to have 1/3 of blended learning as e-learning. PowerPoint, video recording, and link resources should be distributed correspondingly. And for future research, it is interesting to study how students cope with and thrive in e-learning and compare them with blended learning if the pandemic situation has been recovered. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mbak Yashin.
Yashpin.
Yashin, yeah. Okay, thank you. Right, next we will go to the next presenter. We will have Ibu Hesti. Yeah, Ibu Hesti, you can prepare yourself. You can prepare your slide. While you're preparing your slide, I'd like to remind the audience again, if you have questions, if you have concerns on the previous presentations, you can type your questions in the chat box. And if we still have times later, I will also open Q&A session so that you can directly ask your questions to the presenter. All right, Ibu Hesti, the time is yours.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yeah, clear.
Thank you. I would like to say thank you very much for the committee to allow me to bring my presentation. And this is the 6th Celt International Conference in 2021. My name is Hesti Yuwanita Saroin Song, and I am a postgraduate student in UNIMA, Universitas Negeri Manado in North Sulawesi. Oops, sorry. Okay, so this is the title that I choose, Teacher's Perspective on Gender Differences in Learning English Language. I will start this with the purpose, but actually I would like to share you the little bit about this, the background. Nowadays, sociolinguistics covers a wide range of academic issues. Gender and language are one of them. Gender and language describe the differences between men and women when interacting with others. The use of language for communication can be found in discourse on gender differences, emphasizing that men and women communicate in different ways and should be treated differently as a result. It's interesting to learn about how gender differences in language and communication are displayed in the different formats. So, sorry. Problems caused by men and women, women's differences in using language may be influencing in the field of English language teaching, as female and male students interact with each other by using English for communication. And the purpose of this study is to show that male and female learners have distinct learning styles, which can be influenced by differences in language usage from the perspective of teachers. As discussed in the language and gender discourse, which gender shows better performance in learning English, is the main goal of this research. The method used is qualitative research. Qualitative research starts from data and utilizes existing theories to help clarify the results that will be concluded later. The respondents of this study were random teachers who taught English language at secondary school, divided into 20 male teachers and 20 female teachers. The teachers were given questionnaires to fill out about how gender differences affect their perspective of learning English. The questions were in the form of closed statements in order to know the responses of the teachers. The respondents were just required to choose whether they were strongly disagree, neutral, agree, or strongly agree. And here are the findings. I have made this in the table, and then I conclude this. I try to find out the perspective of the teachers from their expression, their achievement, how comfort, how confident, and this is it. According to the findings of this study, girls performs better than boys in English language class. Gender is just one of the many elements that influence educational success in a variety of courses. As socioeconomic class is such a powerful effect, it's critical to consider family background as well as gender when assisting underachieving students. Teachers play an important role in helping students to improve their grades. Teachers should employ effective strategies and provide the students with a vocabulary list. Teachers must employ some interesting strategies to help the students to learn English effectively. The girls seem to enjoy the English language class more than boys. The girls are more confident than boys. The girls follow the grammatical guidelines properly, while the boys are more hesitant to speak English than girls. It can be concluded that based on the teacher's perspective, girls perform better in English class than boys. Because of this, I tried to show you short video, and this boy is one of my students when I was in Korea. He was the one who are so active in speaking English. And the other one is my student right now, because now I am a teacher. My student right now in my class. You may see, I think the results show just like what they can perform in this video.
I really appreciate the hard work of our teacher in teaching us the cultural diversity of Indonesia. I really want to learn more, but I think the time is so short. The more I feel immersed to Indonesia cultural diversity, the more I know how rich Indonesia is. Thank you, Ms. Hesti. We hope you to see in Indonesia. I really appreciate the hard work of our teacher.
He was one of the active student in speaking English, but look at his expression, I think compared to girls.
Hi, my name is Giselle. I am from grade 12 Science 2 of SMA Unclub. Now, I will read about COVID-19 outbreak. Before that, I will ask you some questions. How do you feel during COVID-19 lockdown? Have you got good experience or bad experience? Did you enjoy your moments at virtual classroom? Well, I hope you enjoy my reading about COVID-19 outbreak.
So as you may see, look like that the boy has a little, not really so confident, but you can see the girl, even actually the girl is not so active in speaking English, but when she's speaking, look like that she is confident more than the boys. I think the results showed really relevant with nowadays practicing.
Hi.
So as the suggestion, teachers must design interesting strategies based on the students' conditions, especially gender, so that not just girls but also boys perform well in class. The teacher must look for strategies so that boys will be more confident and do not hesitate in the class. Teachers must be trained in schools on how to teach English to students so that their performance might improve. Discipline concerns must be addressed as they are mostly affecting boys' performance. Teachers must use creative methods to help students who come from poor backgrounds to learn English well. Teachers should set up student-centered classes so that students will freely express themselves in learning English. And I'm so sorry because my presentation is very short. I just focus on the main discussion of mine. So I will, maybe we will have, if we are going to ask questions, then we will discuss together. So that's all about my presentation about the perspective of the teachers related to the gender. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, Ibu Hesti. Actually, you still have 5 minutes left, but okay, let's leave it for Q&A sessions later. Now let's just proceed to the next presenter. We have Ibu Dr. Fitri Budi, who is ready to share her ideas and her topic here. Ibu Fitri, you have 15 minutes to go. Are you ready?
Yes, Bu Eni, thank you. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This article was written by me and my colleague, Dr. Ismianto, and in today's presentation, Dr. Ismianto will present the article.
Yeah, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, can you all see my screen?
Yes, Pak.
Thank you. Okay, I and Ibu Dr. Fitri Budi Suryani will present about English as foreign language student teachers reflection on offline and online micro teaching. This title or this topic is actually inspired by the current inconvenient condition, the COVID-19 that doesn't yet stop bothering our life, although it seems convenient as we can work while staying at home, but actually we prefer working at office to working at home. And the situation also affects the teaching and learning process, as well as in a micro teaching class. We then have offline and online micro teaching class. Related to the title of our study, reflection in micro teaching is very needed. At present, the student teachers are demanded to be able to conduct offline and online micro teaching practice. And still, reflection is needed in both platforms, online and offline micro teaching practices. How is the student teachers' reflection on offline and online micro teaching? This study is going to show us the analysis and also the result. As a background, as we know that reflection plays a very important role in micro teaching practices. Reflection as self-evaluation is a process in which one draws judgments about the effectiveness and adequacy of his or her own performance with the aim of self-development. Reflection also provides student teachers with opportunity to gain insight into their teaching practice and finally helps improve their teaching practice. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, teaching practice in micro-teaching class demands adjustment that will prepare the student teachers to teach in any platforms, either offline or online. As we know that micro-teaching class is also prepared for the students to have a teaching internship in the real schools, in which the time for conducting teaching internship is still in pandemic situation. So they have, the student also have the ability to conduct offline and also online teaching practice. Then offline micro teaching is conducted by the student teachers in live face-to-face classroom. So this is like conventional classroom when we have the teaching and learning process before the pandemic situation. And then online micro teaching is conducted by student teachers synchronously through a platform like Zoom or Google Meet. Still about reflection. This is an opinion from Legend et al. He revealed that students wrote technical aspects of experience, descriptive reflection, and rarely discuss society context. Whereas Chin, 2013, found out that reflective journal help examine beliefs, attitudes, teaching practices, and what need to improve. And now, the aim of the study is to explore the reflection conducted by EFL student teachers in their offline and online micro-teaching. In other words, this study is also aimed at comparing how is the similarities between reflection on offline and online micro-teaching by the EFL student teachers. Well, then the method used in this study employs qualitative study. The participants of this study are 23 EFL student teachers enrolling in micro-teaching class or micro-teaching course, whereas the data are reflection journal written by the EFL student teachers after they have online and offline micro-teaching. And the format of writing the reflection journal is free, so the student teachers can write everything, can write anything he or she they experience while they have micro-teaching, while they have online or offline micro-teaching. Okay, the next is the findings. So our finding, or the findings of the study are classified into two main findings. Number one is about content of reflection. We can see the comparison between offline platform and online platform of micro-teaching. In both offline and online micro-teaching, the student teachers write their experience, their reflections about media, instructional skill, language skill, classroom management, time management, and also material, and also teaching performance. But especially for online platform of micro-teaching, the student teachers have two other contents, whereas which are the students respond and the platform technical problem. I can explore it. For example, in media, so the students will write their experience, will write their reflection. Actually, using media is more practical or easier in which which platform. The student will have experience that, for example, using media is easier when they have offline micro teaching. And in online micro teaching, they have a platform technical problem, which is not found in offline platform. Okay, that's the first finding. And the second finding is about the level of reflection, which is framework for reflective thinking, according to Sparks Langer, 1990. So the level of reflection experienced by the student teachers in our department are level 2 and also level 3. In level 2, this is related with simple and layperson's description. For example, the student teachers will write the reflection. I forgot the conclusion and just give the assignment. So actually in the step of teaching, the student open the class and then giving the material and then giving conclusion and also giving assignment. So some student teachers forgot to give conclusion and just give just assign the student to do the work or yeah, to do the assignment from the teacher. And then the second, the student teachers have problem when they run the video. For example, the sound was not working in online teaching practice. And for the second level is level 3. It is related with events labeled with appropriate terms. For example, the student teacher gives students enough reinforcements. And then the student teachers could manage the time well, but the grammar is not so good. Okay, and as the conclusion, the content of the reflection conducted by the EFL student teachers in their offline and online micro teaching does not differ significantly, except on online learning. They reflect on platform technical problems and students' response. And then the second conclusion is the levels of reflection that the EFL students conducted belong to level 2, which is a simple layperson description, and level 3, which uses appropriate terms. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rismianto and also Dr. Fitri for sharing the results of your reflections on your student teachers' reflections on offline and online micro teaching. All right, okay. We still have time right now for Q&A sessions. I'd like to invite you to address the presenters with your questions, comments, or your concerns regarding their topics. Okay, well, we are waiting for questions from the audience. Yeah, just now I saw a questions in the chat box for Yasmin, but it's been answered. Question from Ibu Anna just now. Yeah, are you satisfied with the answer, Ibu Anna?
Yes.
Okay, all right then. Okay, well, we're waiting for other questions from the other participants. I have a questions for Ibu Hesti. Yeah, Ibu Hesti, the results of your research is very interesting about the teacher's perspective on the differences, the differences on the language used based on the gender. Yeah? And just now, one of the things that you mentioned, you found that your female students look more confident compared to the male students. Can you give us maybe some uh, what is it? Some reasonable reasons or factors which make this happen. Why the female students looks more confident while they are speaking in English?
Well, it's a nice question. Based on the questionnaire that I have distributed to the teachers, actually why most girls look like so confident, or maybe they have more braveness also. I think because girls like to talk a lot. They love to practice, but boys, maybe because they are hesitant to make mistakes, so they just keep silent. As you may see in the video that I have shared, actually, when I was in Korea, I taught technology senior high school, meaning that mostly boys. But you can see, that's their expression when they are speaking in English. The student that I show you in the video, he was one of the active one. I mean, active one meaning that so active in speaking English, but look at his expression. So I think because the boys are afraid to make mistakes, but the girls love to speak a lot. Even it was a mistake, they don't think about it. So I think one of the strategy that as the teacher we can practice in the classroom, we just encourage them that don't afraid to make mistakes. And then maybe we also must blend, yeah, like you said, blend, mix boys and girls when they are speaking, because mostly girls talk to girls, boys just keep silent when it is the time to speak in English. So that's the strategy of the teachers. So there will be no barrier or no differences to learn in English based on gender. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. But anyway, is it also related with the cultural things, cultural aspect?
I think so. The cultural aspect can be affect the students, when example our plays, just example, because the students not used to speak in English. I think that's the problem of culture. So if the environment is active, I think the students, we can consider the background issues as the teacher when we are about to teach the students.
Okay, I see. All right, thank you, Ibu Hesti. All right, we are still waiting for questions or comments from the audience. If you have any concerns, you can raise your hand. You can give the questions or address the question directly to the presenters.
Excuse me, Dr. Henny.
Yes, Timothy, do we still have time?
We still have time. That's why I asked the permission to ask a question. Can I?
Oh, sure. You want to ask questions?
Yes,
Yeah, of course.
I want to ask
Okay.
question to Ma'am Hesti. Okay. Good afternoon, Ma'am Hesti.
Yes, good afternoon.
Okay, I am admired your presentation, and I really like your theory and also your results and findings. However, I still have doubts about the sentence that you stated about the boys are more confident than girls. However, I seems to acknowledge that in the video you showed us, the video that there are the boys who is expressionless, that has no expression when talking in English, and there is the girl who is more active. Well, I noticed that there are age gap between them. Psychologically terms, I have my fellow friend who is a practitioner in psychologist. Age age gap is really affects how confident you are when you are talking in English. There are the theories. I cannot show you anything. I'm sorry, but this is just based on a quick question. Are you noticing that there are age gap? Are you consider that the age gap is affecting this confidence of the children or not? Is there any response about the age gap? Because I noticed that the boys are older than the girl in the video. Okay, that's my question. Thank you, ma'am.
Oh yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Timothy. Actually, they are the same age. When I conduct the interview to the boys, it was 2 years ago when I was in Korea. The boys are 18 years, and the girls, my students nowadays, I mean, not nowadays, just graduate, 18 years old. So for the age issues or gap, I think just the same, And maybe you are asking about the theory, yeah, I think. Just like one of the researcher said that example, this is just the example. He found in his theory, Logan and Johnson said that girls had better reading comprehension, read more frequently, and had a more positive attitude to reading at school rather than boys. That's one of the researchers that I have compared. And I think that's one of the theory that I can share for you. There are many theories, but I just want to share you one. So based on the age, actually they are the same. When I was in Korea, that student was a second grade. So on that time, he was 18. And Indonesia, my students just graduate. She was 18 also this year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I have to tell you the truth that in some of my classes, some of my speaking classes, my male and my female students, both of them are talkative. The female students and also the male students, they both are talkative. But of course, there must be some factors which trigger the situations that make them become more silent, yeah, probably, and less confidence when they are speaking, especially in the new language. All right, thank you for your questions, Timothy, and also thank you, Ibu Hesti. Another question for Ibu Fitri and Pak Rismi. The finding of your research is also interesting, but can you explain further or give us a further clue about the finding of your research regarding the main concerns of your student teacher related with the online micro teaching? What is their main concerns about the online micro teaching?
Okay, thank you, Beheni, for the question. In online micro teaching, okay, the students are demanded not only to be able to teach, but also to operate the platform that they use, like Zoom or Google Meet. So that's why they did the reflection. It came up that they also had a problem, the technical problems with the platform that they use. Okay, Pak Resmianto, maybe you want to add something?
Okay, as I already explained in our presentation that why the student teachers are demanded to have offline and also online micro teaching platform. Since the next semester, especially this semester, the students are joining teaching internship in the real schools, and they are placed or they are plotted in several schools near Kudus, in Jepara, in Pati, and most of the schools are still implementing blended platforms between online and offline micro teaching teaching practice. So as Ufitri already said that they are not demanded to able to have a good teaching practice, but they are also they also have to get the ability or the competence of operating online platforms of teaching. Yeah, I think that's all.
I see. So the challenge is on how to operate the platform, the online platform, because probably they are not very familiar with that,
Yeah.
right? Okay, thank you. All right. Any other questions or comments from the audience?
Me, I would
Yeah,
like
sure.
to ask the question for Hesti. Also for Hesti, is there any preferences for the girls or the boys for the theme or the topics? For example, the boys is it's more interesting for the boys to study about topic of family maybe, or the food topic for the girls. Is there any preferences for the topics between boys and girls?
I think in the reality there will be in the reality. Like example, when I am in the classroom and I'm talking about my youth time, my youth experience, I notice that boys they pay attention clearly. But maybe if I choose the terms like maybe food, they will keep silent. So I think there is. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Hesti. Thank you. Yes,
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, any other questions or comment? We still have time. No question, are you sure? Okay, it seems as everyone is hungry right now. Okay, it's already 1:23. Okay then. Okay, before I close this session, once again, I'd like to congratulate all of the presenters who have shared their ideas in these parallel sessions, and we learned a lot from you. Thank you for the insightful and also inspiring presentations that you have shared with all of us here in this parallel session, especially in room B. And we learned a lot from you. And it's very interesting that during our discussion here, most of our discussion here is related with the discussions about online synchronous and also asynchronous learning systems, and also amazed the challenges due to some technical problems dealing with technology. The online learning offers wider opportunity for students to learn across nations and culture. And this results in the students' intercultural competence improvement. And online learning also motivates teachers to be more creative and innovative in teaching techniques. And some of you have also offered some new designs of teaching and learning practices, such as the use of flipped classrooms, and then collaborative learnings, virtual international joint classes, and also contextual materials. The borderless classrooms have allowed our students to learn other cultures and also improve their communicative competence. Okay, so thank you very much for your ideas, and let's give round of applause for all of the presenters and also for all of the great audience we have in these rooms. Okay, you can join me to give virtual round of applause. You can also click the reactions you have in the Zoom room here. All right, I see there are thousands audience here clapping their hands for your great presentations this afternoon. And before we move back to the main rooms, can we take picture? Okay, someone reminds me to take picture. You can open your camera and then put your best smile. Let's take a picture. from room B. Timothy, are you going to help us?
Yes, I'm going to lead the photo session.
Okay.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to open your camera. Ma'am Henny, the students is usually more harder to contact to open the camera. Okay, then I'm going to lead the photo session. On the count of 3, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, we're going to have the freestyle.
Wow, the freestyle.
Freestyle.
Okay, freestyle.
1, 2, 3. All right. That's a wrap, everyone. Thank you, Ma'am Henny. The photo session is now done.
Thank you, Auntie.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Timothy, and thank you, everyone. We still have plenary sessions after these parallel sessions. It will start at 2 o'clock, but you can join before that. There will be entertainments in the main room, and at the same time, you can also enjoy your lunch and take a break. And we will start again at 2 o'clock. If you click leave room, you will be offered to leave room, to leave the meeting, or to leave the breakout room. Please just leave the breakout room, and you will be brought back to the main room. So you don't have to join again and ask permissions again to join the main room. Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you, and
Thank you.
again
Bye.
later.
Thank
Bye
you very
bye.
much.